channel, everybody. It's your girl Cosmic Groovy back with another video. If you're returning, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm at like 2,300 subscribers now. Like, I remember when I had like 88 subscribers. Like, what? So I appreciate you. If you subscribe to me, you found interest in my videos. I know I'm a bit everywhere. It's just I have a lot of things that I like to talk about that I'm interested in, and you know, getting us together. And as you can tell by the name of this video, my intuition has saved my life, and I mean more than once. And being on this spiritual journey and trusting myself and my intuition and my gut feeling and trying to follow the aligned path for me, and you know, live out my purpose and my destiny, and you know, have some sort of reasoning to be here. I am a Sagittarius. I mean, I've been asking my mother since I was a kid, you know, questions about religion and spirituality, because things just did not make sense to me. I'm just somebody, you know, I have to dig deep as well. I'm a Scorpio moon. I've been putting my crafts, my investigative skills to good use and trying to figure out myself and my life, and you know, take accountability and sit and reflect, honestly. And in doing that, I found that, you know, my intuition has been here this whole time. We all have intuition. I think that we forget that we are spirits, like we are on some sort of, you know, ultralight beam, like Kanye West said. You are this soul, and we forget, because obviously we live here on earth in the material physical realm, and you know, everything is sensory, but that feeling, you know, that's still a part of sensory. Like, feeling is still something very important. And you know, we live in a very logical society. It's very analytical, and we're losing touch with empathy and compassion and love and the real things that could change the world. But you know, that's the whole purpose. I mean, welcoming each other home, helping each other, each one teach one, you know. So it's like, once we figure things out and you know, we work on ourselves and you know, ego these things, and we be able to make better decisions and do things that's right for us, and that could save our life. So my intuition has saved my life, and this is a video that I was going to make last year, but you know, in divine timing, everything works out for a reason. And we're in this Mars and Cancer energy right now. So the intuition is on fleek. We in a full moon in Scorpio, so I could do a whole Storytime series, but I'm gonna do a little breakdown right now. Growing up, you go off your parents' energy, you go off your parents' wave of emotions, but then we soon begin to get conditioned to what feels right, because you know, some things that we see don't feel right. Can't really say anything about it because we're watching our parents just continue to go along with it, you know. That's hard already, your environment, what you're conditioned with. So trusting yourself is kind of hard. Then we, you know, go out into the world and we experience. And this is very important too with the houses. This is the first house, that foundation, that base. This is what's building up your structure. And you go into school, then you start getting bullied a little bit. They start telling you things, you start questioning yourself, then you start realizing, who is self, who am I, who is being, what is human being? I literally thought it was human being, B-E-A-N, until I was around 12 years old. Like, hello everybody, like, this is something that we're supposed to be. And it's like, you know, like, so I started asking my mom questions about, you know, religion and spirituality and human being and God and what is it, and how, you know, when can I see it? And this is stuff that my son is asking me now. So I was meant to be on this journey, because my son is starting to ask me a lot of questions like, where's God? Or like, when he gets in trouble, he'll be like, God, come save me. And it's just like, he keeps asking me, what does God look like? It's really energy. There's a greater power at hand. There is something guiding you. There is a reason for the season, for everything. Diamonds. I live in New York. I live in New York. Diamonds forming pressure, okay? You gotta know, like, you gotta do that transformation. You gotta go through things. You gotta see, like, wait, you start counting the things you've been through, you untouched. So it's like, okay, you understand the job at hand to go get the job done. You understand what the job is. So it's like, you know, that's the point. If not, what are you doing? Like, you know, this is temporary, you know, and energy never dies. So we're getting our lives together because of reincarnation, yeah. But you see, I started trailing off. I started asking questions, and I just still was like up in the air about like spirituality and like, what does this have to do with intuition? When I was around 7 years old, this was when the singer Aaliyah died, and the day of her death, this was my first experience with intuition or things feeling weird. And an airplane is passing by right now. But I was at a cookout with my father, and I kept looking at the sky, and I kept saying, Daddy, like something doesn't feel right. Like the day feels weird, and I just kept looking at the sky. I like Aaliyah. I liked her, the singer. Like my mother listened to her music. Like I loved her music. Like what? She was the like Aaliyah. Like yeah. So I kept looking at the sky, and I kept telling my father that something didn't feel right. And he was like, yeah, okay, like kind of just brushing me off. Now I'm like 7 years old. So I get home, I go to bed, I wake up in the morning, my parents are not there, they're at work. And my cousin was over at my house babysitting, and she's watching the news, and Aaliyah's dead in a plane crash. I knew something did not feel right. I'm looking up at the sky. It just felt like a off feeling. Like, so I'm like, I knew it. And I'm just like shocked, like in shock that whole day. Like it didn't make any sense. Like I didn't even know young people could die. Like this is adding on now to these questions that I already had about life and being, and what are you supposed to do here if you could die so young with so much talent? It didn't make any sense to me. That whole day I was in kind of like a doozy. Like I didn't really understand anything. Everything was weird. That feeling that I felt, and it just didn't make any sense. But I didn't really have nobody to ask like questions about this. So like, you know, like my mom is very intuitive. She's a Pisces, and she's always been able to be good with energy and spirits. And like even my grandmother's side of the family, they've been able to predict deaths in the family, and they really good with dream interpretation. But this feeling that I felt, like the intuition type of feeling, like, you know, I never really, you know, like had nobody sit down and talk to me about this, because you kind of just do what your parents tell you to do and feel, you know. So that night I still had so many questions, and I have proof of this, which I'm very happy about. I was laying down in a bed, and a green orb flies up to the window in me and my little sister's room, and a newspaper with the front page of Aaliyah's picture and her plane crash from the Daily News planted on my window, just planted there with the green orb behind it. And it just sat there, and we started screaming, and my parents came, and a lot of weird stuff did happen in this apartment. And yeah, so we started screaming, and my parents came, and like they let us have the light on and stuff like that. But this weird feeling that I had, it was just like, what was that? And this green light, like what's going on? Like, and I'm still not getting any answers. So you know, as I got older, little things on my intuition here and there. But there's times where I could feel something's coming, or it'll be too still and quiet, and I know that I'm expecting something. I really get feelings more so when I'm in present danger. Like I'm not really a death type of intuitive person. I can't, like that's something I'm still working on. But the energy of like run, get out of here. With me, I don't know what it is, but I get this feeling where I'll get dizzy, and the world just feels like it's stopped or like it's paused. And I could be anywhere, and when I feel it, I just know to be very vigilant and alert, because this means that danger is near or my life is in danger. I don't know what it is about me. My mom says it's my eyes. I don't know. She says I have like a puppy, like my eyes are very inviting. I always look scared, like doe-eyed. But I get followed a lot, and by like psychos, or like I could be walking somewhere and it could be other pretty women around, but you know, they'll follow me. It's still energy, and my energy. And when you have a certain light, and you know, parasites and dark energy, they want to, you know. So one time I was in high school, and my high school was near a very big, busy train station. After school, I'm waiting for the train, and something just told me to run. I felt nauseous, my mouth got dry, and I felt like I was going to, like, I don't know, it just felt like you're gonna die if you don't get out of here. And I ran up the stairs. It didn't, like, nothing had to tell me twice. I looked around, everything looked pretty normal. The train wasn't there. It was people standing on the platform, but I looked crazy because, you know, I just had to go. So I got up out of there, and as soon as I left, maybe 5 minutes later, I just stood upstairs because something didn't feel right. I was thinking of another way to get home. I just stood upstairs. 5 minutes later, there was a shootout in the train station, on the platform, on the tracks. And nobody's saying that I could have got shot. I don't even think anybody did get shot that day. They probably did, but something still told me to get out of there. Like, still, like, in that moment, my life was saved because bullets don't have no name on it. So this was weird for me now, because it's like, what happened? Like, I just heard a voice out of nowhere, just told me to run in my head. Like, what told me that? Like, where is this coming from? God is the spirit. God is the soul. God speaks through your spirit. That voice came in my head, and it was honestly, like, really, like, okay, now I think it's to the point where I might have a little superpower. Life is going on. I'm having moments where my intuition saved my life. But there's one moment, one key moment that I would really like to speak on, because this is something that I know now for sure that I'm just too nice. Like, you can't play with me. You will never get away with kidnapping me, following me, and thinking I'm going to your car. Nothing. Because I spotted you 10 miles away because my intuition already told me. So good luck next time. I used to work in Manhattan at this cupcake shop. I used to get off work very late. And I was coming home from work. It's like midnight going on, almost 1 o'clock in the morning. And New York, the trains are always doing some middle of the night mumbo jumbo. So you kind of just gotta do a lot of shuttling and shuffling to get home. So I decided to take the bus one night, and I'm standing at the bus stop. This man just walks up to the bus stop and he just stands there. So he doesn't say anything to me. He's looking at me. He's quiet, but he has a very dark energy. It seemed kind of like voided, like something you can't even explain. Like, it had no, like, pizzazz to it, and it just felt numb, and he felt cold, and he was just very, like, discreet and very, like, bulky. And I don't judge, you know, I'm black. I always try not to judge black men sometimes for how they look, because I know when I'm black, and why would I do to you what you already got experience from everybody else? I am you. So I try not to judge, but some people energy is really off, and you just gotta go with that. This man is just standing at this bus stop. Now, I'm on the phone with my mother because that's me. I'm somebody that I will call somebody in a quickness. If you give me a dark energy, I'm going to make that phone call and just have somebody on the phone so that I could easily, quickly shout out what you look like, anything, because I'm not, no. So I'm on the phone with my mother. They were just laughing and talking. You know, the bus ends up taking a long time. It was the middle of the night. So he stood there like the whole 30 minutes. I'm thinking this is just somebody that really wants to go home, because who was standing there like this unless they was really had something planned. So I get on the bus and I put my Metro card in. Now he gets on the bus and he brushes past me and, like, knocks me. He, like, this is a grown man, but I know he felt a little funny and a little crazy from the bus. So I'm like, let me just mind my business. I'm gonna just sit in the front of the bus. He goes all the way to the back of the bus. As I walk to my seat, I'm looking at him, and he's just like this, like sitting forward. So I'm like, okay, not paying no mind. So I sit, and I'm facing the front window of the bus, directly in front of the bus driver. Now, he's smart. He went to the back of the bus. There was no seats behind him. I couldn't sit behind him to watch where he was going out, you know, to be able to be one up on him. I couldn't monitor his direction. He was monitoring mine from behind. So I'm sitting in my spot. Now, I was going to the second to last stop. So this was like a 40-minute bus ride. Now, as we get into the third to last stop, I'm noticing that this man is still on the bus. Now, nothing is left on this bus but maybe some nurses going to the nearby hospital. And my stop is coming up. I said I'm the second to last stop. This is the third to last stop. And this man is still sitting here. So I get up. I go to the bus driver. My back is turned. It's still some nurses on the bus because I don't want him to really see me. And I talked to the bus driver from the side of my mouth with my back turned. And I said, sir, I think there's somebody on this bus. Something just told me to do this. Something just told me to get up and walk to the bus driver. The man could have been getting off on that stop. He could have lived in that block, but no, he did not live in my neighborhood. The way he just walked up and stood at that bus stop, it was all weird. So something just said, get up and do it now. And it was at a certain moment. Like, something just said, now go. Out of nowhere. And I didn't even plan to do that or ask. Like, I wasn't even thinking that I would have to ask the bus driver that. But something just said, now go ask. And because my stop is coming up now. So I go ask the bus driver. I'm like, sir, I think there's somebody on this bus that's following me. And can I just stay on the bus a little longer when everybody else gets off? And he said, okay. Now, the nurses got off the bus. Now, this is my bus stop that's coming up next. Can't get off, though, because I got to stay on the bus. I turn around. It's nobody on the bus left but me and this man. So now it's official. He's still sitting there just like this, like looking forward. But, like, take away my innocent face and just imagine somebody scary looking, honestly. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Just very dark, stone cold, very, like, gorilla type scary. And, we get to my stop. The door's open. He doesn't get off. I said, okay, showtime. Like, how the hell am I going to get out of this? I can't stay on the bus all night. It's nearing 1 a.m. I got to be up for work tomorrow. And at this point, I was pregnant and didn't even know. I was like 3 or 4 weeks pregnant at this time. So I was super tired. So I'm somebody, oh my God, I don't know why. I just attract crazy people. And I've been through a lot of things. And it just don't be making no sense or adding up. But you know, okay. We get to the last stop now. The door's open. The bus driver opens the door. Last stop. The man looks, he's still sitting there. He's looking around like, okay. The bus driver said, last stop, you got to get off. This man looked dead straight at the bus driver and said, I'm not going nowhere until she's going somewhere. So he was very adamant on taking my life or taking something from me that night. And just the fact that he even knew this, that I lived in that neighborhood, or I hope that he didn't. I hope that he thinks or thought, I don't live over there anymore, but I do hope that he thought that I lived somewhere else. He looks at the bus driver, he says that. The bus driver was like, she's not going nowhere, like she's with me, like, you know, pretending I'm his daughter or something. So the man, he got up, he looked at us, he looked at me, he said, you lucky. And he got off the bus. And he walked to the bus window, took out a phone, stood in front of the bus window and started talking on the phone, describing what I looked like to somebody. And then he started walking backwards, still on the phone, and like pointing at the bus until, I mean, the next block, like literally like not taking his eyes off of me, and then walked up into the dark of the night. And the bus driver looked at me and said, I thought that you knew that man. I'm like, how? We didn't sit together. He said every time I looked in the window, that whole bus ride, that man was staring stone cold hard at you like this. Like the look that I kept seeing, he was behind me in the back of my head looking at me like that. Now, I thank God for this bus driver's life. I thank God for his life, because at this time, New York City had implemented some new rule. If you are in like late night hours, the bus could drop you off on any block along the route, not just the bus stop. So my house was the next stop. So he dropped me off and he sat there and watched me go into my house and honked the horn when I got in safely. And that bus driver literally saved my life. And I never got his name, and I never got the bus number. I was in so much of a panic. I couldn't sleep that night. I thought that man was coming back. It was just totally uncomfortable. And I just thank God, honestly, and my intuition and trusting it to get up in that moment, because I could have been prideful and been like, what? Like, I'm crazy. Like, I can't do that. Like, I can't get up. No, I had to. I can't think about what people think. The same way with what happened to me in the train station. Like, I can't think about what people think. Like, my intuition told me that I have to go. So, after that, I was really uncomfortable with going outside. I was scared to go to work. I was switching a lot of my late night shifts. And soon after that, yeah, I found that I was pregnant. So Yeah, my parents wasn't having that, so I end up not even having to go back to that neighborhood anyway. So things worked out because, yeah, like something was going to happen to me. And a few days after that, actually, I found reports of a young girl who was raped in the same neighborhood, like a few blocks away. And, you know, I don't put anything past anybody, but that was just a time that my intuition saved my life. And another time, one night, I was feeling so uncomfortable, and I was visiting my parents, and I just felt like uneasy. Like I felt very uneasy, like something just didn't feel right. And I kept telling my mother, like, Mommy, like, I just feel like something bad is gonna happen to me. Like, I feel like I'm gonna die. Like, I kept telling her that. And she kept telling me, careful what you say, and, you know, the power of the tongue. And I'm like, no, Mommy, but it's a feeling that I feel like something doesn't feel right. And, you know, she just was like, well, you just pray. You God's with you. God's watching you. Just pray. Tonight, I felt that calm of the night, calm of the storm vibe that I usually get when my intuition is warning me of something. The next day, I get up. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't die. Like, I made it past the night. So I get up, and I'm like, I'm going to go to the supermarket. Like, you know, like, I feel a little better. I'm not that scared of the day anymore. So I go to the supermarket, and I get inside the supermarket, and I'm not really thinking anything. I'm just casually shopping about. But I notice a man that every aisle I found myself in, he found himself in, like every aisle. And I noticed this. So I played with it a little twice to see if I was bugging out. So I'm like, all right, let me go to the milk aisle. A lot of people be in the milk aisle. You got cheese and milk. I'm quick. Like, you're not going to get me. I'm going to go somewhere where it's somebody buying something. You're not going to catch me in a cracker aisle. No. I go inside this aisle. He's behind me. I'm like, all right, he following me. So I'm like, now I'm going to cut the corner, go down this next aisle. If he go down this next aisle, he's following me, and I'm going to just find my way, make a left into the main aisle, and go get security. He follows me into this aisle. My father always told me to test when you're being followed, stop and act like you're going to tie your shoe, even though this is dangerous to bend down in front of the perpetrator. But stop and act like you're going to tie your shoe and let the person walk in front of you. He walks in front of me and then stops and looks at me like, oh, I thought you was my niece. So you're not going to play with me. I said, if I was your niece, you couldn't just say my name. You couldn't call it out. You would follow me 8 aisles. Why would you do that if I was your niece? You're being a weirdo. So I noticed the fake little groceries that he was copying, the fake little groceries that he was carrying. Soon as I said that to him, he put them down and took a mad exit for the front of the store. Now, at this point, I don't even care about the stuff I'm shopping no more. He's waiting for me outside. You know, like now I'm on to his ploy. He's waiting for me outside. So I go to the security. I'm like, please help me. Somebody is in here following me. Go outside and see if he's there. And he was like, I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody there. I'm like, could you just escort me outside? Like, I live very close. When I buy my groceries, could you just escort me? And he was like, I could call the cops. I can't leave my post. You know, like, it is his job. I was security before. So, I'm here telling him the story of what the man looked like because he said he would call the cops. And some guy came in and he was giving his bags in for bag check. And he hears me talking and he's like, oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. He was like, I just seen him busting out lights in his staircase. He's like making it dark. This place was in the heart of the hood in the Bronx. And this place, their parking garage was very scary looking. Like, it looked very scary. And I don't know if he thought that I had a car or something, but he was busting out the lights, like, to plan his next victim because he was going to hurt somebody that was, you know, had to come up those stairs to go to the supermarket. My intuition was not steering me wrong, and hopefully the cops did come. One time in high school, I had a friend that invited me to come with her to her friend's house, and we were just gonna hang out after school. We get off the train, we're in a neighborhood that we both grew up in, so I'm like, okay, like, it's close to the house, like, this is probably really somebody that she knows in the neighborhood. So we get inside of this house, and it looks regular on the outside, so I wasn't really expecting anything of it because it wasn't like, it just looked like a regular house. Now, when we get inside this house, right, something didn't feel right to me, like in the way that, like, as we were walking inside the hallway to get inside the apartment, something didn't feel right to me, like on the way to this specific apartment. This friend that's walking us through this apartment, it's a guy, and she didn't even tell me that we was going to a guy house, number one. And number two, you know, I do understand wanting to be safe and inviting your friends to meet up with a guy, something like that, but I do feel like you should mention if a guy is coming, and I do feel like, you know, you should let your friend know, like, a little bit, you know? You should let your friend know also if this is somebody that you know, or this is somebody that you're meeting off the internet or something like that. Something just was not right, but I kept ignoring myself. And this girl has showed me before, you know, things about herself that I didn't trust my intuition because I thought I was crazy. But she's done things before that every time I don't trust it. Now I'm like just thinking to myself, like, okay, how am I going to get out of this? I do have strict parents and a curfew. I can't even be here right now. I'm just trying to be, you know, so cute and thinking that I'm grown. I'm not even supposed to be here right now. So, like, that's really how stuff happens too. Ever get someplace that you're not supposed to be? This is whenever something goes down in your fucking life, I swear. So the guy is walking us inside. Now we get to this apartment door. He unlocks the door. I step inside. It's one mattress on the floor with no fitted sheets, no covers, no pillows, 2 pit bulls. And I look inside of a room. Another mattress was on the floor, and 4 dudes with white t-shirts was getting ready to come out the room. I looked at her. She looked at me. She tried to act normal and like this is normal. I was like talking to the guy, like just trying to, but I'm not that vulnerable. I'm never going to try to flirt my way out of any situation. I'm going to buck ass. I'm out. I'm not doing this. So she was just trying to act cool, like this is normal. And I'm feeling in my gut like, girl, we either about to be sold off or gang raped. And this is not something that I'm interested or taking interest in right now. And I'm super not about to have this happen to me. What my intuition is telling me right now to take it, to take that run. So I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. So I'm like, yeah, come outside with me. So I go open the door on my own. They had 7 locks, latches, locks. Like this house, whatever Future would be talking about in his songs about his trap house, this was it. This was that place, because this was something I have never seen or experienced. I'm probably now watching snowfall, but this is not, like I was very sheltered, so this was an experience for me. So I leave. She ends up coming out with me like 2 minutes after. Like she didn't even immediately follow behind me. If something would have happened to you, you were supposed to be right behind me, like, and I wasn't going to leave without you. Like, I stood and waited for her, but it's like, no, girl, I'm not going to stand in here and wait for you. I'm sorry, because if you being stupid like this, I'm sorry. But she ended up coming out. I was like, the vibe in there, like, do you even know them? Like, she didn't even really know them. She met them off of the internet. So this is just, it just goes to show about how you gotta really trust your intuition with a lot of things. This is why I wanted to do this video as well, because I'm not just astrological, I do tarot cards as well, and I want to bring my tarot to YouTube and do my weekly updates that I do. I already do them on Instagram. You can follow me over at Cosmic Groovy to see them. These times of trusting my intuition led me to fully trust my intuition and using it to align with what feels right for me and what's in my frequency, and how to attract things positively and how to not be so pessimistic. I do have a lot of trauma and I do have a lot of experiences that I could be paranoid, but I'm not paranoid, because whenever I didn't trust my intuition, I end up abused, violated, hurt, tried. Like this is why I push astrology so hard, and compatibility, and we talking about energy, and this stuff is real, because it's like, it's not that everybody is bad. People just don't feel right for you because it's not going to work out. They're not in your frequency. It's not in your, you know, in your core of who you are. Like, they don't align with you. My cards, every time I draw my tarot cards, I learn a very big lesson. I had a boyfriend last year, and he was everything magical in the beginning stages, but my cards kept telling me the Tower. and I kept getting the Tower, and I kept getting 7 of Wands and 5 of Wands, and I'm like not trusting myself, like it's no way that these cards are right, because this is my boyfriend, like he's everything. No, in a blink of an eye, that Tower card came to life, and the Devil came out. I think the Devil card did come out at one point, but the Devil came out, and everything that my reading said, I experienced. And I'm no longer ignoring myself, my gut, my intuition, my feelings. And I started feeling things, and I started saying like, nah. And I'm like, no, I'm bugging. Like, and I'm like, no, like I know, like he's a super gaslighter. He would say things and do things and try to like delude me out my reality, like really super manipulative and gaslighting. And I've been through every type of it, like it's just too much. And there was a lot of times I did not trust my intuition, and I didn't listen to it, and I had to take accountability for some things that happened to me in my life. But I can't do that anymore. And you know, I read my tarot cards now, I accept my guidance, and I believe that God is guiding me, and I believe that I have a purpose here. And this purpose is to get everybody to trust their intuition, trust that you have a purpose, trust that you have a reason, trust that, you know, everything that you're going through is just molding you into your better self. This is giving you the skills to conquer what you was meant to do, okay, on this mission. So, intuition is everything. I know what I feel. You can't talk me out of my reality. I've had a lot of narcissistic relationships, you know, that are real codependent relationships, a lot of trauma bonding, going against my intuition, and that's really where we suffer. When things don't feel right and we try to force it. We cannot force energy, okay? If God said it to be so, it would happen, okay? So this was just a few stories of times that I trusted my intuition and it saved my life. I have good stories with my intuition too, but I really just wanted to mention this one first because I just had an experience that, see, I almost forgot to talk about it. But the other day I was out and the energy just felt very off, and I just got up and left where I was. I didn't even tell nobody bye. I just got up and left. And as soon as I got home, I got a text, a Facebook message from somebody that was where I was, threatening me like I was about to be hurt or beat up or something like that. Mind you, these are people that's drunk and I don't even know what's going on, but I got threatened and they was going to get me and all this stuff to me. And it was like something just told me to just leave this spot like right now. Like something was off. I hope you guys are keeping up with my Moldavite experience. I'm trying not to do so many. You know, I want to let some things happen first because it has been doing some things for me, you guys. You do know I just got out the hospital. If you haven't, go watch my Moldavite experience. I got 3 episodes out. My Sun by Houses video just dropped, and we're getting into our birth charts and we're breaking it down. I love getting in touch with the empathy, the emotions, the intuition, you know, the soul parts of ourselves. That's what I'm into. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for tuning in. Please turn on your notification bells. Please add me on Instagram at Cosmic Groovy, Twitter at Cosmic Groovy. Hit the like button or dislike. It's your discretion. I can't. You gonna do what you gonna do. Comment. Get to know me. Would y'all like a video like that actually too? Like, I'm not trying to be the preacher person that just comes out of nowhere making videos telling people how to live life. If you actually want to know things about me or questions or something, you could comment them here or send them to me on Instagram at Cosmic Groovy. Things that you would like to know about me. I'm on a little weight loss journey, so I have a lot of things going on. My weight loss journey, my spiritual journey, my natural hair journey, because that's all life is a journey. I'm just documenting it, living out my Disney star, Disney Channel life that I never got to do when I was 7 because Keke Palmer took my place. But anyway, Keke Palmer and Coco Brown. I am a mix between Keke Palmer and Coco Brown, I promise you. But yeah. So that's it, you guys. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that we have, like, let's talk about it like one more time, that your intuition saved your life and was able to tell when somebody's going to die. I can also smell sickness on people, but that's a whole nother video. But yeah, like, let's talk about it. Like, come on, we're spiritual. What are your gifts? What are your abilities? Let's connect. Let's vibe. Soul Tribe is out here, okay? That's just it. Bye, guys. Peace. I'm out of here.